Hey everybody, welcome again to the Ronline Report. Got a very special guest with us today. New York Pro is coming up just a few days from now, this Saturday, in White Plains, New York. And the man a lot of people are talking about as the favorite, the man to beat, is with us. Akim Williams. Akim, welcome.
Hey Ron, thanks for having me, man.
So you just got back yesterday from Kuwait, correct?
Yeah. A late flight last night, got back in.
How long were you there this time?
About 4 months. My first time going out there was about 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is everybody's dream, of course. Everybody now wants to go to Oxygen Gym Kuwait, hang out there, train, and do that. So tell us how that you got the opportunity to go be there and do all that.
Well, I mean, last year after I did the Olympia, I got an invite to do the Kuwaiti Pro show out there. And I went out there, did the show, and met up with the owner of Oxygen Gym, Mr. Bada, and he took a look with me and he thought I had a lot of potential, so he wanted me to get the opportunity to come out there and train and make some improvements. So I thought about the idea, and at the time I thought it was a really good idea, a great opportunity, so I decided to take him up on the offer.
Wow. So when did you leave? When did you leave New York and go out there?
Well, at the beginning of the year, so like mid-January.
Mid-January, okay.
Yeah.
So who did you work with when you were over there? Who was your personal coach? Or did you have a trainer that was working specifically with you every time?
Well, since I started bodybuilding, I've always been with Dave Palumbo.
Yeah.
So I've always been with him since I started bodybuilding. So it was a decision to make, in terms of my career and stuff like that, to try something, different. We spoke, and he agreed,
Yeah.
It's not like, no, we still are great friends and everything like that. It's just wanted to try something a little bit different and see what happens,
So who was working with you in the gym every day, and who was working with you over there on your nutrition?
Well, once I got over there, I got to meet, we became really great friends right now. My coach right now is a guy by the name of Ahmed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also one of the coaches that basically trained Rami.
Yeah.
So when Rami won the 2000, I think it was, what year did Rami did the New York Pro?
He won it a couple times. I think, I want to say
the first year.
2013 and 2014, maybe?
So 2013, he was the one that was up in Rami and training Rami and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he took the same kind of approach with me because I'm a bigger guy and stuff like that. So we made tons of improvements just within the 4 months that we was out there. So I'm really happy with the results.
So what were you looking to improve on? It's you don't really seem to have weak body parts per se. So what was the goal?
Well, basically, I have a size, but I always had need to refine and polish a few different muscles groups, increase my shoulder size and get more details in my back and stuff like that. So those are the points we basically try to work on while we were out there. Back, shoulders, hamstrings, and stuff like that.
How was your training out there with Ahmed different than what you've been doing for the past few years on your own?
It was a lot different, man. Before I trained, and everybody knows me because I like to train heavy and lift a lot of heavy weights. All that changed when I got out there. So I had to literally leave what I learned in New York, and go out there with a clean mind and open mind to just basically accept whatever they was going to throw at me and just use it to the best of my ability to improve. So once I did that, it was easy to adjust.
Yeah.
So everything changed from in terms of the rep range, in terms of the weight we were lifting and stuff like that. I haven't deadlifted since I went out there.
Wow.
And that was a staple in my training,
Yeah.
So I have to basically, like I said, lose everything that I've learned in New York and just go out there with an open mind and learn the most I can to improve my physique.
Because I know you've been known, I followed you on Instagram, and you've been known to train very heavy right up until your shows, very heavy.
Exactly.
Were you afraid at all that you were going to lose size without the heavy weights?
Well, I thought about it, but I'm saying, I said to myself, what have you been doing? You only got you so far. Maybe try something different and see what happens. So just having an open mind and just believing and trusting in the person that's basically helping you is just made a huge difference.
Yeah.
I just put everything on the back burner.
Okay. Now, condition has always been something that you've had issues with. Sometimes you've been tighter at some shows than others. And everybody always says, "Oh my God, Akim! If that guy ever came in shredded, he'd be just so much more dangerous."
Yeah.
How do you feel your condition is now compared to the past few shows you've done?
I don't know, man. We'll have to wait to New York and see.
Well, you had a guy working with you on nutrition out there, helping you with your diet and everything. You prepped for the whole show out there, basically.
Yes.
Was it a different strategy with your diet than what you were used to?
The biggest factor so far has been the training. As far as nutrition, we learned my body a lot. We learned what didn't work and what worked. So we played around with a lot of different things and stuff like that, and we finally figured it out. So come Saturday, it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
I'm definitely confident enough to say
you
that's going to
competed
be
around
interesting.
260, 270. What do you think you're going to come in at roughly? Any idea?
What do you think?
Well, you just come back from Kuwait, so I'm going to say 290. Yeah.
When I left Kuwait, I was about like 289, 290.
See?
But
okay.
Dropping everything now, so I'll probably be in the 270s maybe.
Okay, but it's going to be a very, very different looking 270 than what we've been used to.
More of a 3D look, better shoulders, better back.
Cool.
So it's a lot of changes for me. At least I see a lot of changes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Kuwait, that was your first time there. Obviously, it seems like it's a very different culture, a very different place. Was it kind of a culture shock to you? Did certain things take a while for you to get used to over there?
Yes and no. As far as what people the mass media and everything like that always talk about Kuwait, it's not like what you think it would be like. Especially with the way they portray it on TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all. They're very Americanized. Most of the restaurants and stuff like that you have in America, you actually have the same things out there. In terms of the culture, they're more big on going out to eat and training and stuff like that. There's no like nightclubs and stuff like that. So as far as fun, your fun would pretty much basically go to the mall and go out to eat.
Okay, that doesn't sound too exciting, but I guess contest.
Well, if you like food.
I mean, contest prep's not supposed to be the most exciting time anyway. So
basically.
So this gym, Oxygen Gym, it's that's the new mecca. It's where everybody wants to go. You've trained at places like Bev and Steve's Powerhouse. You've been out to Gold's Gym Venice. You've been to the best gyms in America. How did Oxygen Gym compare to those? How's it different?
Well, in terms of Oxygen Gym, it's an amazing facility in terms of the machines, the equipment, the staff. It's insane. Mr. Bada, he went all out basically and just got the best for the gym.
Yeah.
So you go out there, you're like a kid in a candy store.
I bet.
And on top of that, you have amazing staff. He has coaches and stuff like that that are actually rack your weights, re-rack your weights, and do all that stuff for you. So you just focus on training.
Right.
So just by having that, you're more able to push harder and stuff like that because you don't have to spend a whole bunch of time re-racking the weights and stuff like that. So that makes a huge difference,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, the staff is amazing, man, and it's just a wonderful place to train.
Cool. Can you walk us through a typical day? Everyone's like, what do these guys do over there? I mean, you're not going to train all day. That's like an hour or two out of the day. You're eating and sleeping. So can you walk everyone through a typical day when you in Kuwait these past couple months?
Well, I mean, typical day would be for me to wake up in the morning, get my cardio down, then get about maybe 2 meals in.
Yeah.
Then would get my first training session in maybe around 1 o'clock. Then would go back and get a few more meals in, maybe 2 meals in, and then get my second training in.
Yeah.
Then basically nighttime cardio.
Okay.
And then get some rest after that.
So what are you doing? Watching TV, hanging out the rest of the time?
Pretty well. Get sleep. Yeah, basically you got getting some rest or just watching Netflix and stuff like that.
I mean, I know you were there and you enjoyed the experience. Did you get homesick? Were there times where you were really wishing you were back home?
In the beginning, when I first got out there, the first couple of days, like maybe a week, got a little homesick. I was actually rooming with Brandon Curry, roommate.
Right.
So that was pretty cool because me and him got to talk and stuff like that. But after he left, it was a little bit harder because I was by myself the whole time and stuff like that. But then also Nathan the Asher is out there, so get to hang out with him a little bit too. So that was pretty cool,
So, I talked to Ahmad Askar, who trains a lot of the guys around that same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, do all the pros train at the same time every day at that place?
Not really. Sometimes it's between maybe 12 and 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
But there's different locations to Oxygen Gym, and the majority of pros they train at this one. It's in a city called Jabrera.
Yeah.
So like most of the hardcore guys and stuff like that, they would train at that one.
Was that
so if you want to see all the pros and stuff, you would train there.
You were at Jabrera?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Do you plan on going back anytime soon?
Well, that depends on how I do at the New York Pro. If I win, I would probably go spend a month back in the U.S. and then head back to prep for the Olympia.
Yeah. So, I mean, you haven't had time to really adjust to it yet, but everyone wonders, it's I don't want to say it's not real life, but when you're over there, it's not like real life, because real life you have other things to do back home when you're in New Jersey, New York. So how do you adjust to, balancing a real life again after you've had 4 months of living the bodybuilder life 24/7, eat, sleep, train?
I think it's the opposite, man. I think it's easier prepping in the U.S. than prepping over there.
Huh.
Because you have familiar faces, you have family and stuff like that,
Yeah.
You don't have to think about bodybuilding 24/7. You out there, it's a different story,
Yeah.
You by yourself, even though you have your coaches and stuff like that. But a lot of people think that you eat, sleep, and train bodybuilding. After a while, that gets, there's so many bodybuildings you could do,
Yeah.
When you're in the U.S., you have your family, you have your friends, so it makes the prep a little bit easier. You can turn it off a little bit.
Yeah.
So people get the perception that thinking that, you're just going to go out there and eat, sleep, and train and it's going to be so easy. It's actually not, man. Because sometimes you need other things to take your mind off of bodybuilding,
Yeah.
Makes a lot of difference in your prep.
So who do you train with in the U.S.? Do you still train with Juan Morel?
Off and on sometimes, whenever we can meet up,
So Juan is obviously another guy that's a favorite for this show, because he's just had a couple of strong showings at the last 2 Arnold Classic shows out of the country. A lot of the people watching this may not realize how far back you guys go. Can you tell people how far back you and Juan Morel do go?
Wow, well, man, I've known Juan for a lot of years, man. Amateur days back in Manhattan when we started training together. So it'll be interesting to actually step on stage with him again,
Yeah.
Because my first pro show was at the New York Pro 2014, and I haven't been on stage with him since then.
I was wondering, New York Pro, it's close to home. Why haven't you done that show more often?
I felt like I needed to improve a lot, because it's the third biggest show in the world. So I think when I actually stepped on that stage again, I wanted to bring a package where basically everybody would be like, okay, he's ready to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And I just won Tampa Pro last year, and I felt like it was time, going out to Oxygen Gym and training and making the improvements that I made. I felt like it was the right show to pick.
Okay.
Yeah,
you mentioned Tampa Pro. That was your first pro win last year, and you'd had a lot of strong placings, but finally you got a win. What was it like when you finally made that jump to the winner spot? How'd it feel?
Yeah, man, it was amazing, man, because a few weeks before that I did Baltimore, and I came in second to Victor Martinez. I thought like I had a really great package in Baltimore, and just wanted to push it a little bit. In Tampa, I was a little bit more flat and smaller, but it worked out in my favor, and I was just happy with the win, man. It was an amazing feeling just to get a chance to actually punch my ticket for the Olympia.
Yeah.
Because that's always been one of my dreams, just to step on the Olympia stage. I didn't care if I come in last place or not. Just doing the Olympia has just always been one of my dreams.
You haven't done the Olympia yet? I know
last year.
You did it
last year was the first time I did, yeah.
It would be great, I'm sure, for you to come back to the Olympia and be one of the first call-out guys.
Of course. Well, that's a plan for this year,
So let's be theoretical. Say you win Saturday night. Would you shut everything down until the Olympia?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you try to go back to Kuwait, or would you want to prep for the Olympia at home?
No, I would definitely go back to Kuwait.
Okay.
Because I see the improvements we made in 4 months.
Yeah.
And just giving me another couple of months to just go out there and just do what me and Ahmed has been doing and just improving, and it's amazing,
Yeah.
So I feel like if I get the opportunity again, win on Saturday and head back out to Kuwait, I could probably, I'm not saying the first call out in the Olympia, but definitely top 10.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's very, very realistic. I don't think that's being outrageous at all. Top 10 is well within your reach. Yeah. I mean, everyone that's been following you these past few years, you know, you could have a little more back. You know, there's just little things you can pick apart, but with everybody, obviously. But size-wise, shape-wise, you know, you have a small waist. You have those flaring lats. The shoulder, the quads are crazy. The arms are crazy. It's always really just been about detail and condition for you.
Yeah, especially from behind. And I felt like we really worked hard, you know, this past couple 4 months to just bring in some details. I actually increased my back a lot. You know, it's a lot wider. It's a lot more details in there right now. So I'm happy with what we accomplished. You know, it's just 4 months. You know, I'm definitely happy with it. And I can't wait to show it off on Saturday.
Yeah. So you've done all the heavy training, and that's worked very well for you, obviously. But are you going to change your training from now on to incorporate different styles that you learned over there in Kuwait?
Of course, that's definitely. I mean, when you learn something new and it's worked so well, you know, you definitely have to put it into your routine. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know, this is a big show for you because it's. Are you going to have a ton of friends and family in the audience, I would expect?
Of course. I have my girlfriend, a few of her family members is coming, you know. A few of my family members is coming, so everybody's excited, you know, because they haven't seen me in a while. So just being able to come out to the show and see me up there on stage is just an awesome feeling for me and for everybody else, you know.
Cool. Yeah, you know, who obviously it's an individual sport, but you must have people around you that give you a lot of assistance and help during this. Who are the people back home that have sort of helped you over the past couple of years?
I mean, definitely, I have to like say really, really like a lot of great things about my girlfriend Taylor. You know, she's been there so supportive. Her dad, you know, her mom, her whole family, my mom, my brothers and sisters. You know, I mean, it's just awesome. You know, because in the beginning when I first started bodybuilding, they didn't think it was a really great idea to like, you know, go down that career. But now like everybody understands my dreams and goals, and they support me 100%. You know, just knowing that I have to work hard and just continue to work hard. You know, bodybuilding is not a race. You know, I had to learn that. You know, you just got to keep improving, just like Dexter Jackson. You know, look how long he's been in the sport. You know, he didn't start off winning from the beginning, but look at it. Look at his career, the amazing career that he had. You know.
Yeah.
So like, you just can't expect to win overnight. Everybody's not gonna be like Phil Heath. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just gotta keep chipping away at it and just keep making improvements every year. And I feel like a lot of the fans, you know, they just so used to guys and just coming out of the gate, getting their pro card and just start winning that they expect everybody to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be like that. Even Ronnie Coleman, he wasn't like that in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
He had to work his way up. Even Kai Green, he had to work his way up. So I'm just going to stay focused and just every year I keep improving. I keep making, my places are getting better. So, you know, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. You know, I want to put things in perspective for people that you weren't always this big guy. I remember talking to you and you told me when you started training at your height of 5'10", you were already at your full height. You were only about 148 pounds. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. And what's the heaviest that you've been up to?
About 315.
Ooh.
Off season. Yeah.
That's what most guys are squatting is about 315. So, you know, do you think you need more size? Or you think at this point size is where it needs to be, and you just need to refine and work on balance and things like that, detail? Yeah,
well, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing in Kuwait. You know, size. Of course, I added the muscle in a few places and stuff like that. But we've just been trying to refine and just increase details in the places that we need, like in terms of our back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I definitely have enough size.
Yeah.
Sure, you as a bodybuilder, you always want to keep growing and stuff like that. But sometimes growth is not always the best idea for your physique. You know, so for me, I have the size. I just got to keep refining and just bringing in that details that basically when I step on the stage, you're going to be like, yeah, he's a clear winner, you know?
Cool. Well, yeah, you know, I think it's exciting because like you said, Ronnie, Dexter, a lot of these guys did not, the first few years of their pro careers were nothing special. Nobody was really looking at Dexter or especially Ronnie. I remember when Ronnie came out, he was just this guy on the side of the stage that nobody was really paying attention to, wasn't getting call-outs. You know, but we watched these people improve gradually over the years, and all of a sudden, they're the top guys, and this could be exactly what we're watching with you right now. I hope it is. You know, you've been plugging away at this for a while now. You work hard.
I definitely worked out. This past 4 months, man, I put in a lot of work, so I'm definitely excited to show it off on Saturday.
And I want to let people know your Instagram. It's at IFBB Pro Akim Williams. No spaces in there, all lowercase. some crazy lifts are on there, some crazy video clips of lifts, some great shots, and you pretty much documented your whole time in Kuwait on Instagram, which was cool for the fans to see.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what you got to show us on Saturday.
Definitely.
It's coming right up. We only got 5 days to wait.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you very much for joining us, Akim. I want to wish you the best of luck Saturday. Everyone's going to be watching you very eagerly to see how this all comes out. So thanks again.
Ron.
Cool. So for the Ronline Report, this has been Ron Harris with Akim Williams. Check him out Saturday. New York Pro, White Plains, New York.